Prof, a very good morning to you. This is a very important visit to South Africa coming at this time.
Yes, it is. A visit by a Nigerian president as part of the binational commission that has existed between South Africa and Nigeria for almost 2 decades now. It's always going to be important. There are 2 big giants in economic terms, and there are 2 big giants in political terms. The African agenda is not complete without them, but these are countries with a very long history of relationship and quite complex relationship, but very significant and working.
It's coincidental in the sense that it comes just after the recent violence against African migrants, and we heard the voices of many Nigerians in particular who were not happy even with how their own government responded to what was happening here.
And certainly, certainly the attacks on foreign nationals, on immigrants in South Africa would be an issue on the table, but it's not the most important issue. In the sliding scale of things, in the way I see it, the biggest issue is beefing up trade relationship. It's always been a big issue in the binational commission. And secondly, consultations on security question. And thirdly, on how they adopt shared approaches to United Nations and African Union issue, and then this issue might crop up. But that issue is probably already been dealt with by envoys, and there's very little for them to discuss in that issue. It's not as big an issue as we make it to be.
And on the issue of showing leadership, I've seen some comments that this time around President Buhari and President Ramaphosa have an opportunity as leaders of these 2 economic powerhouses to show some leadership mettle so that the continent can then follow on. Because recently there are some commentators who are saying they've sort of lost that kind of leadership positioning even in their respective regions.
Yes, I think we are spoiled by the memory of how the combination of Tambi as a very strong foreign policy president with a very strong African focus, and Olusegun Obasanjo in Nigeria, who also has a strong Pan-Africanist foreign policy outlook, and those who succeeded them were not really foreign policy president, neither Zuma or Jonathan on the other side. And President Ramaphosa has not projected himself as a strong foreign policy president. He's a very strong economy president. And President Buhari has been dogged by domestic issues and positioned himself as a strong security president. So we don't have that situation we once had. So they gotta have to do the little that they can do, at least to ensure that we don't slide back. But we shouldn't expect massive move forward and building upon that legacy and strengthening the African continent and the African voice and work to build certain initiative on the African continent. We shouldn't expect that.
Should we expect some move forward in a spirit that will promote more cooperation and mutual benefit between these 2 giants?
Least you can expect is indeed that. The least you can expect is that they will then focus on cooperation between South Africa and Nigeria. A lot more bilateral agenda than a multilateral agenda that we saw in the past. So if they are thinking about succeeding, where they like to succeed most is if they can show that they've boosted trade relationship, investment between the 2 countries, cooperation in science and technology, in health and education and those particular areas. That's the least they can expect, and the binational commissions are the perfect platforms for achieving that.
Thank you very much. Professor Spamandla Zondi giving us some of his analysis on the importance and the meaning of the visit, the 3-day state visit to South Africa by Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari.